In early 2011, we travelled to 2 sites in Nicaragua, looking to distribute shoes and aid. Our first stop was the capital, Managua, and its infamous municipal rubbish dump, La Chureca. We met with Lillian Hall, who has worked on La Chureca for over 10 years.
It's like Dante's Inferno. First of all, you've got all the health hazards from the smoke that they're breathing in and the dust. And then also just the danger of little kids being in a place where big garbage trucks are zooming in. There have been cases of children who've gotten crushed by these trucks that didn't see them. You know, in this landscape of waste, you're not going to see a 2 or 3-year-old kid that's sitting there on a cardboard box.
Lillian took us up to the dump as we had been advised not to go alone.
But is this the only centre that's actually right in the middle in the dump here?
Lillian took us to the only children's day centre on the dump, Los Quinchos, a project offering kids a play space and a daily meal.
Well, you've got this children's feeding program here with children that are toddlers all the way up to maybe 13 or 14.
And he works in the dump?
Dice, y cuando vas a recoger cosas en la basura, tienes zapatos y vas descalzo. One of the problems is really the lack of coordination between groups. You know, there was a group that was giving breakfast out for a while, and then that stopped. There's another group that sometimes gives food out over here in somebody's yard. I guess the Quinchos coordinator would probably have a better sense of those things. There's no one reality of La Chureca. Yeah.
Okay. I was starting to realise that finding out exactly what was happening on the dump wasn't going to be easy.
There's no discrimination of what goes into the dump. The children have told us that they found body parts and fetuses on occasion, certainly lots of bloody bandages and things. And when you think about, again, HIV/AIDS, you shouldn't be rummaging around in bloodied gauze and bandages with your bare hands.
So all those red bags, apparently biochemical waste from the hospital.
They recognize that all that is contaminated.
So what happens to those red bags?
He says that the people, they do open the bags because even though they don't want the scalpels and needles, they want the IV fluid.
I can't believe you get body parts in there. It's just like,
yeah.
So shocking.
Yeah, there's no regulation.
Lillian suggested we meet with the directors of Los Quinchos to discuss the possibility of distributing shoes and aid to the children of La Chureca from their base.
Porque es una ayuda grandísimísima. Los zapatos son más importantes tal vez de la comida para los niños para ser considerados como los otros niños iguales.
It's really important for our project to work with their project because we want to know that the shoes are going directly to the children.
Y esperamos que este sea como un primer paso, ¿no? Que decimos.
Sí.
The first meeting seemed really positive. Carlos agreed to provide us with a list of all the children that go to the centre with their age and shoe size so we could buy the shoes. However, things didn't continue so smoothly. Despite continual reminders, 3 weeks later and the day before our planned distribution, we were still waiting for the list. Luckily, he came through with the list just in time and we were able to buy the shoes. But it was a sign of things to come.
We're standing by the roadside, roundabout, halfway to Managua, waiting for Carlos, the director of Los Quinchos, so that we can pick him up, take him to Los Quinchos, give out the shoes. But it's proving quite difficult.
He's supposed to meet us at 11. I just had him on the phone.
Oh, what did he say?
Well, ask about the list. I said everything is in the car.
We've bought the shoes. We're giving them out in 2 hours.
I know, but I think it's a little bit typical.
Finally, a very apologetic Carlos arrived and we were able to leave.
Si los niños hoy necesitan comer es hoy que quieren comer, no es mañana. La solución inmediata. Si hoy los niños tienen que ir a la escuela, entonces hoy necesitan zapatos para ir a la escuela. Esa es la solución.
It seemed we were back on track and we were looking forward to giving the shoes to all the children with Carlos's assistance.
Todos los niños empiezan sentando en la mesa. Primero nosotros vamos a dar un cuaderno.
We settled the children with their school supplies and activities while we organised them into groups so they could wash their feet and get their new shoes.
Is there any way they can wash their feet before they... We're just starting the shoe distribution now.
But things still weren't going to plan.
Where's Carlos?
No.
With Carlos nowhere to be seen, we were struggling to keep order.
Okay, we don't have enough. These are not 50 children.
The situation was getting increasingly out of control, and I couldn't understand why Carlos wasn't helping.
¿Dónde están zapatos? No tengo. So it's pretty hectic and difficult, and obviously we don't speak Spanish. And the owner of Los Quinchos is just sitting still, and he's not involved, and he's not helping, and he's not organising, which is kind of strange and difficult. So, do you want to book?
Los zapatos estaban para todos los niños que vienen aquí.
Es que vienen más de 50 niños, los niños chiquitos.
¿Cuántos?
70, 100 a veces.
Porque tú no has
Porque nosotros decimos a la prioridad educativa, si más quieren. Aquí hay muchos niños que no vienen.
Cecilia's here every day. Cecilia's every day. Why wasn't she on the list?
Anaí está aquí cada día. ¿Por qué no está en la lista? ¿Por qué no vas a la escuela?
But she's got no shoes.
Pero no tiene zapatos.
Necesita. So we would have bought her shoes.
Necesita.
If he gave us the number, we would have bought her shoes. We would have bought everyone's
That's what I
shoes.
told.
Sí.
50 or 70 doesn't make a difference.
No difference. No
Pero bueno,
difference.
nosotros entendimos que era más, era en función de darle prioridad a los niños que iban a la escuela, así entendimos.
Unbeknown to us, Carlos had decided that only children already going to school should get shoes. But in Nicaragua, children can only go to school if they have shoes, and we wanted to give that opportunity to all the children.
Perfecto, poquito grande, pero está bien. ¿Por qué? El próximo año, más grande, puede poner eso también.
Despite the misunderstanding, we still managed to give most of the children shoes, as we had bought some spares.
Muchachos, ¿te gustan los zapatos?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Thank you.
The children that were too small for shoes and weren't on Carlos's list got lots of clothes and toys, so no one was left empty-handed.
Look who has new clothes.
Oh, hello.
After our experience with Los Quinchos, we decided to go in search of another dump, and so we headed to Nicaragua's second biggest city, Granada.
Okay, so we're on La Jolla, dump in Granada. It's really different from La Chureca. It's so smoky.
¿Cómo te llamas, primo?
Luis Valerio.
Luis Valerio, ¿cuántos años tienes?
5.
There were lots of children scavenging on La Jolla dump who needed help.
See you soon.
But first, we wanted to find out if there were any other projects already helping them. After much research, it became clear that the only organisation assisting the dump community was Evangelical American Mission El Puente.
This house
Yeah,
is for the church community,
yeah.
and they have the people also.
We met with the leaders of El Puente, who did not wish to be filmed. However, they invited us down to their church to film their missionaries at work and meet Mario, who oversees their feeding programme on the dump.
Great. The difference between here and Managua is that the kids are going to school in a week, and we want to encourage them. So we were thinking possibly school shoes instead of Wellington boots, because if they're not on the dump, we want to encourage them.
And for the second time on this trip, It looked like collaboration was not going to be easy.
Probably where we don't mix, what we're trying to do is teach them about God.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to teach them that God can provide for them.
Yeah.
That they not only need physical food, but spiritual food as well. All these people start showing up and giving them all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Shoes, clothes, money, everything. They're gonna forget the main focus, what we're trying to teach them.
Yeah.
All right, that they need to trust in God. See, so I don't know how your organization does things, but we confide in God. We trust God, we believe God. I mean, before this got started, we didn't have any money. You know, and we prayed over it, and we prayed and we prayed. And once we prayed, God provided the money to buy the stuff. There was a time where we didn't have any more money again.
Where did the money come from?
From somebody who's a Christian, who's seen what was going on at the dump, who actually seen the necessity and said, how much does it take to feed these people?
What if somebody did that and they weren't a Christian?
We don't want them to depend on people from Europe or the United States or even the Nicaraguans. We want them to depend on God.
Okay. Despite our differences, we decided to accompany El Puente on their feeding program at La Jolla to see if we could learn anything from their experience distributing on the dump.
Usually we find a reading in the Bible.
Yeah.
We say a prayer, we reading, we tell them what the reading is saying.
Yeah.
And we say another prayer and we
They know that there's going to be some preaching. And are they all kind of eager to hear that? Do you think they're interested? And
I feel like some of them really are and others are more just interested in the food.
We spotted Luis, who we had met when we first arrived on the dump. He was being taught from the Bible by one of El Puente's preachers.
¿Por qué no escuela?
Porque no tiene zapatos, no shoes, no clase, no va. Toda la hermanita en clase y él está aquí porque no tiene zapatos, pero dice que sí quiere ir a clase él, pero sin zapatos no va.
Zapatos, escuela?
Sí, si tiene zapatos, sí, él quiere ir.
You have to have a uniform to attend school. So if you live on a rubbish dump and you can't afford a uniform, you don't have any clothes, then you can't go to school.
Él quiere ir a la escuela.
Señor, te damos gracias por este día tan bello, tan fresco, Padre. Gracias por cada uno de mis hermanitos que están en este lugar, Señor. Bendícelo y bendice a cada uno de mis hermanitos. Guárdalo, Señor, guarda sus pies, guarda sus manos.
The first person's done some preaching. The second person's done some preaching. It's almost midday. Food's just here.
I felt frustrated that El Puente encouraged the children to trust in prayer over education. Despite us having different agendas, I hope that both our organisations might work together by sharing information to ensure that all the children got shoes, enabling them to attend school. We asked them several times if they would share with us the census they had of the dump community, which we could use for our distribution. In response, they told us they would pray, and when they received an answer, they would get back to us. They never did.